Hello, another week, another net, and it's me again. Um, let's stop things from happening in my ear. Please, I'm still hearing it from somewhere. I know I'm monitoring in too many places. I always forget that I'm actually monitoring the YouTube stream, and I need to mute that better so I don't get things going around. I don't think there's many on the net at the moment. Brian's joined. Yeah, I think I squashed him a little bit when he was trying to do a test earlier. I was busy doing other things and trying to keep the frequency clear. So that's good that he's joined the list. So let's go over to the list. There's an echo at the moment. I don't think I can hear an echo, but there shouldn't be now. I did have an echo because I hadn't killed. I'm getting feedback on the talkback, but it's nice to know that others are around. Anyway, I don't know that there's an echo. If there's an echo, I don't know where it's coming from at the moment. So apologies. It probably was at, I don't know. Anyway, I don't think it's coming out anywhere. I'm getting confused. Right, let's have a look at the schedule. See what that's who's on at the moment. Now, Leon, I'm not sure whether he's actually going to be there. It all depends whether he's had his roof fixed in time. So I know. So in a minute I'll pass it over to him. But if he doesn't take it, then I now know that Martin's around because he was telling me there was lots of echoing going on. And I think that's because I had the YouTube stream open in the browser, which was coming through. So hopefully that's stopped now. It was confusing myself anyway. It's still there. Well, I don't know where the echo's coming from. So it's an thank you there. I'm being told that there isn't an echo in one place. So it's Martin's got an echo. So that's the other Martin. That's the very old Martin, as opposed to the. Anyway, it's going to be a confusion. So right, if Leon is not there, then Martin with an echo can take it next. G0 NYM, and thanks for the other stations for popping up. I think as this is producing chaos, not actually doing too well this week. But let's go back to me, and let's see whether Leon is there to bring some sanity to things, because he has things normal there. But big question is, was he able to get the roof fixed, or was he able to set up a temporary system, I wonder. So over to you then, Leon, if you're actually there. If not, perhaps the very old Martin with an echo can take it from G8KOE.
Okay. Hello, Martin. Yes, I'm here, and there's definitely zero echo on you. Your audio is perfect right from the start. You're just hiding in the dark. That's all I see. Yes, I did manage to get the roof on and the dish back onto the new roof. It actually went easier than I thought. So everything is back to normal with a much more rigid roof. 0.8 millimeter sheeting, and yeah, and extra rafters and things, so it's really rock solid now. You can have a party on top of that roof now, and the dish won't even move a little bit. Okay, I have a very bad cold, which I don't know where I got it from. I was still fine yesterday, but this morning, gee whiz, I'm sneezing myself to bits. So anyway, so I don't have much to say here on this side, but I'll be listening and I'll be watching, and yeah. So over to Martin with the echo G0NYM for the group from ZS1 Mike in Worcester.
Yes, good afternoon everybody. Thanks for running the net, Martin. Let me just turn this down. Yes, apologise for thinking you got an echo. It was at my end. I've got two windows open on the screen here. They're both playing the same thing back. Yeah. Anyway, sorted. Sorry to bother you, Martin. At least you know that the talkback thing works. Yes, okay, Nigel. I'm much the same as you. Although I don't have a cold, I've not a lot to add today. I will sit and watch everybody's over, and but I've been doing nothing except been outside in the garden most of the last week. So we've been quite good weather here, and it's time that it was in the greenhouse and got the garden sorted out, which is a major task when you're my age. You do a little bit at a time and go back in the house, have a drink, watch a bit of telly, and then go and have another play at it. So I haven't done a deal of radio or TV or whatever they call it at all this last day or two, and nothing to report. So I don't know. That's about it. I've been sort of watching it time too, but I've not been any constructing or playing about or anything really. Most of the time's been outside. And the next big problem is draining the pond and refilling it and keeping the fish happy. So I might be busy in there for the next 3 or 4 days, messing with the fish. Once that's all over, it's fairly easy to keep the garden straight and tidy. But it's sort of beginning of the year, we clean it all up and tidy everything up, pressure wash things, you know how it is, make everything look pretty again. Yes. So anyway, I'll pass it on to you, Phil. That's about all I've got to say really. Nothing much else has happened here. And the sink's out terrible again, isn't it? I don't know why that is. I should have come on here and play with the sink again. Anyway, apologise for the sink as well. I'll pass it on to you, Phil. From G0NYM, passed it on to M0PIT. Supposed to put the test card up.
Right, there we go. I've just got to keep an eye on my power level. Okay. Yeah, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. Yeah, it's a lovely day here. Sun is out, blue sky, etc., etc. Really nice. Shame to be stuck indoors. Anyhow. Leon, yeah, I hope your cold gets better. Having, when I was 40 years of age, or thereabouts, just over 40, I got pneumonia, quite bad. I had flu, real flu, not cold, flu, and I got pneumonia. Out of that, I spent, I don't know, nearly a week in hospital. I got a very slightly damaged right lung, and if I get a cold, the first place that hurts is my right lung. Doesn't cause me any other problems, but I do panic when I get a cold because it just brings back the memories that I had when I had pneumonia. So yeah, I just try to avoid colds. Yeah. It's probably one of the few things I'm really scared of, believe it or not, is getting a cold. But there you go. Don't go down that avenue. For net. Yeah, that's we all appreciate it, I know. But yeah, talking about the King of England, Martin's been having a go at me because I have an intermittent problem. And that problem is that my ports down will suddenly push out a lot more signal. And I really don't know what the problem is, what's doing it. It could either be the lime in the ports down or a digital attenuator in the ports down. I can't think of any other reason why you would get more power out of it. In order to check it, first of all, it has to go wrong, and it doesn't go wrong very often. And secondly, it's going to be very difficult to actually check it. I've got some probes. I don't know if they would actually work. Martin did mention putting one of these probes in there and connecting an analyzer to it as a permanent test point, if you want. So when it does go wrong, I can actually monitor the level. But he did have a go at me, because I had a go at him some time ago about an elbow that I was pretty certain was causing him some problems. And I had connected, after I had this problem, I connected an elbow onto an inline coupler. And because this elbow was there, Martin did have a moan at me on 2 occasions, I think, about removing it. So there you go, Martin. I have actually now removed it. So we shall see what happens with my overpower. So that's that. What else happened? You may or may not know that AMSAT DL replaced the amplifier on the beacon yesterday. When I had a look yesterday morning, there was no beacon there. And in the chat of yesterday, when the beacon came back up, he said that they'd replaced the amplifier and they're now on the backup amplifier. And there was a mention that maybe it was the amplifier, the original amplifier, was causing the problem of the beacon going up and down. But they're now apparently running on the backup, and we shall see. But I thought I should let you know that. And the only other thing I've been doing during the week, other than moaning with Martin and keeping an eye on what's going on the satellite, is I've been getting ready for my next trip, which is happening in about about 10 days time. I'm leaving. I want more power. That's Nigel. I can give you more power. At the moment I'm about half a dB below the beacon, but I can give you some more power. Come on. I'm trying to, and it won't respond. Oh yes, it will. There you go. I'll give it one more. So I'm now half a dB above the beacon, and I'm going to turn the fan on, keep it cool because it's up to temperature. Anyhow, that's better, right? Okay. Yeah, I'm going on another trip, and I've got a little friend out there, and she's a lovely little thing. She's about 8 years of age. She's really happy, but she doesn't talk. And they get no support from anywhere really, and there's no government support. So anybody that's got a special needs child out there really struggles. But she's a lovely little thing, and I'm convinced that with a little bit of help, she can communicate. So what I've got as a present for her is this. It's a child's tablet, okay? And I've got a little program on it. Let's change the camera. Here she is. Oh, there it is. It's a little program. It's free. It's called C, as in the letter C, board, and I think it stands for communication board. And what it is, well, you shall hear.
Yes. No.
Let's have a look. What have we got here?
I want to bathe. I want to cycle. I want to go bowling.
So I have, let's go back to the main camera. Here we go. I've got her that as a present. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but when I was out there the last time, when I left, she reacted, yeah, she just screamed. And I think that, she's, yeah, I think that might help. It might not. If it doesn't, I'm sure the special needs school, and I call it a school, it's not really a school, it's a room in a tower block, will be able to make use of it. But it's quite cheap. The tablet, I don't know, it's about 80 quid or something. The program on it is free of charge, you know, it's free. And there's 41 different languages, so I'm hoping that it will work, and I shall report when I come back and let you know if it has worked or not. It'd be nice if it does, because she's a lovely little kid, so happy. But there we go. So that's that. I don't really have. Oh, I do have something. I do have a bit of video. It's not much. I might do it on my next over. I'll see if I've got anything else that I can bore you with in the meantime. Right. Brian is next. So I'm going to put up a test guard, Brian, and then I shall kill carrier, and fingers crossed.
Whoa, sorry about that. It does help if one puts RF into the amplifier. So, oh, I don't know what I was doing. I hadn't clicked the go button on OBS. Everything else was on. Oh dear. I blame just getting back in from going out to lunch. Continuations of wife's birthday and Mother's Day, etc., etc. What have I been up to? Well, not been on here for a couple of weeks. It's been laying low, sorting out the lawnmower. Got the lawn done this week. Not been too good. I've been under the lurgies, like everybody else. I caught a bad chest infection, and what was it? Can't remember it, but the shortened word is H influenza. Gosh, that knocked me out. And the strength of drug, 3,000 milliarc well, 3 times 1,000 milligrams of antibiotics a day for 7 days. Whew. So I've been in the wars. Done a couple of things. Updated one of the pre-drivers in my driver box for 23 cents. I wasn't getting my full output from my brick. I've now got the power up to where it's supposed to be. So I've been playing with these. That's theoretically a 2-watt version. They do 1 watt as well. Didn't need the 2-watt one. I tried it, but that's too much drive. Didn't want to damage the final P8. What else have we done? Retuned the filter. That was off in the output stage from 23. That's slightly off. That's give me about a watt extra. So every little helps, as they say. Although that doesn't really matter, because the repeater's only the local repeater, GB3PV, is only a mile down the road from me, which I look after. As I say, it's all been updated with a ride and ports down, and arranged VPN logins so one can fill and update if one needs to. Not a lot else. As I say, the walls have been at me. Did visit grandchildren the other week, so that and some. So the one's over in the west in Telford, Shrewsbury. The other one's up north in Derby. So been a few mileage, bits and pieces done. Now I've got rid of this horrible chest infection. So, not a lot else. So I'll just say good afternoon to everybody, good morning or evening to any viewers. Sorry about the confusion at the beginning. I'll just cheat this time and leave the OBS on and just kill the bias to the amp. To say, ooh, fans finally come on. Proves that still works. Keep it cool. So I'll hand it back, I think it's back round to the chief. And thanks for Martin for continuing to do the net. So I'll hand it back to Martin. G8KOE from G6HFS.
G6HFS, G8KOE. Yeah, I didn't think you were coming up, so I think I squashed you a bit, or we were fighting with one another. I think that happened before the net anyway started, and I left a gap, and then I think you came in and I squashed. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, I've put another candle on in the shack, so hopefully things are a little bit brighter. No, I had problems with the configuring of the camera. It lost its settings or gone into a silly mode, and I hadn't yesterday. In fact, it was all pink and red and you name it. It looked really horrible. So I didn't have the settings quite right. It's quite funny anyway. The old QO Pro, Razer QO Pro. It sometimes has a mind of its own, but I think we're there at the moment. And yeah, when you're talking about gardening, and I think it was the very old Martin with the Echo that was talking about gardening and greenhouses and things like that. I did note Simon is actually, I think, who's doing the SDR TV, is putting a greenhouse up this weekend. So that's what he's involved in. So besides taking the dog for a walk, etc., which I know he does at this sort of time in the afternoon. But an 8x4, I think it is, greenhouse is going up. That's what he said on the BATC net, and that's obviously taking his time up from. I think he's chasing a Windows 10 error that he's getting on the sound. I think it was, which he's looking at trying to fix on his program. Yeah, the QO-100 the beacon. I didn't realise they'd actually replaced the PA as such on it. I thought they'd replaced the elbow connector that they had in there, Phil. Thought that was the problem why the power went up and down, but maybe I was wrong there. But it's usually what the problem is when you've got things. I learned that from an expert. And the tablet, excellent, actually, really excellent. She would enjoy that without a doubt. Whether she can make full use of it, maybe in time, but certainly I think once you give it to her, you'll never get it away from her, even if it's just to go through various things and have various sounds coming from it. Absolutely brilliant. I did look at the program. It does look very good. I've never actually seen it on a tablet, but the size of the tablet looks good, and pink and everything else is really nice. So good on you there. My son used to, in fact, he still does go out to Romania, to the various similar sort of schools, stroke disabled places they have there. And there's lots of kids in similar sort of situations. And I always remember we went out there one Christmas to take a present out to all the kids in this particular school. It's where mums and that used to just dump their kids when they got a new boyfriend, etc. So things aren't much better there. But the picture he brought back was this disabled kid with the headgear on, stopping from bashing his head against the wall, etc. And he was making a paper chain. And I think it took him 15 minutes to do one link of this paper chain. But the expression on his face just said it all. It was really good. So good on you there, Phil. Glandular fever. You've only had it once. Well, that doesn't count. I've had it twice. 2 years in a row. And as Phil lived on the South Coast, he'd know Aldingbourne, which used to have a chest hospital, Aldingbourne Chest Hospital. Not going back in time, that is, near Crocker Hill, I think it is, at the Crocker Hill garage, etc. But Aldingbourne Chest Hospital. If I'd have had it a third time, then that's where they'd have put me. But luckily, I didn't have it a third time. But my chest hurts usually if I'm in somewhere like on the beach and the wind's blowing. It just takes my breath away, and the chest is very painful. So yeah, not good. And to you there, Brian, thanks for popping up, by the way. I seem to be struggling to get people to pop up at the moment. Don't know where everybody's gone. I think it's me. I've put everybody off ever since I've taken over for a while. They've all run away. So I don't know what it is. I did make a list on it. Or anything else on here? Yeah, I've been playing in the garden, doing a lot of clearing up. Also rearranged things in the shack that I can now switch different areas, shall we say, of what's connected to my main supply. The PC's on one sort of network. The little repeater that I've got, which is that one, which the very young Martin is still working on a bit of logic for that for me, but that's still up and running and working. And I've changed the router, not the router, the switch that I use on there. I've used a Cisco switch, which seems to be working much better than the switch I had before. I don't know why, but it takes a bit longer to actually boot up, which I know Phil told me it would do. And got loads of settings in it. Not that I can get into it at the moment because I don't have a password for it, but I don't want to get into it because I wouldn't know how to adjust them anyway. But it's working and working well, so leave well alone. So that side's working. So yeah, garden, lawnmower. That was the other thing. I think yours is a petrol lawnmower, if I remember hearing you on there, Brian, that you repaired and it pulls you along. Well, I've just got an electric lawnmower, which I have to push. But I did get a new plastic one, effectively, which is much lighter and seems to work surprisingly well. And it's darn sight easy to push around. So I've got a bright blue plastic lawnmower, which I tested it yesterday and worked exceedingly well. What was taking me sort of an hour and a half to do out the back, I did in half an hour. And it collect up lots of grass cuttings, etc. But now I just need to repair various bits of grass and things and that, and do some work out the front. So I've got need to seed a few areas out there. But anyway, that's something to wait. Right, that's a lot of waffle from me. Not much radio because I haven't done, or TV, not done a great deal. Yeah, PA sitting at, says it's about 35 degrees temperature there. I'm drawing about 9.7 amps. But hopefully the signal's better. And yeah, I don't think there's anything else I can add really. Still hoping that some others will join, or even some others will run the net occasionally. Other than the only person I've had to offer is Leon, which was absolutely brilliant. But we'll see how we can keep it all going. And fun on your super roof. I was hoping you'd be back. I'd have been lost if you hadn't. So thank you for being there. Right, over to you there, Leon. Long waffle from me about nothing. But yeah, I still say to Phil, well done. Over to you there, Leon, from G8KOE.
Okay, fine, Martin. G8KOE in the group, as it is one mic returning. Yes, okay. Firstly, yeah, it's not flu really that I've got. It's more hay fever or something. I haven't had proper flu for maybe 20 years. I've sort of outgrown it. I used to get it when I was in school, every year, 3 weeks out of school. Oh, I really got it very bad. But after school, no. I can remember once when I had it, as I say, about 25 years ago. No, it was more, 30 years ago. And yeah, no, this is more like hay fever. It's all in my nose and my eyes. Nothing in the chest. I've never had anything in my chest. Okay, right. Yes, Phil, earlier today you were showing some pictures of some big transmitter stuff. I wonder what that is. Perhaps you can tell us a bit about that. Big tank coils, and I saw a water-cooled valve there and things like that. The last time I saw something like that, it was brand new, was at the high voltage accelerator near Cape Town. That was, it was, I don't know how many hundreds of kilowatts. It was for modulating the beam or something. They used that. Yeah, and that's also maybe 20 years ago. So I've still got the pictures. I took lots of pictures of it. It was just brand new. They just installed it. Lovely. Okay, that's that. Phil, very nice on that tablet thing. That's a very nice gesture, and I'm sure she's gonna enjoy that. If you can select the right language, that's a challenge. Yes, what else? In the meantime, I've been battling really battling with KiCad. Now, oh yeah, you guys will laugh. I've been using Tango for 35 years now, and it works like a dream. I can do it with my eyes closed, and it's quick, very quick, because I never draw a schematic. My schematic is on a piece of paper with pencil, because you can easily change something, and from that I do my PCB. But the manufacturers don't accept Tango Gerber files anymore. They can't use it. So the obvious choice is KiCad. It's a very, very nice program, very too comprehensive, but hell, dear mekaar, millions and millions of menus, and where do you get this? And I had a friend come over here now to show me how to set the width of the track. It defaults to 0.5 millimeter. I don't want that. I work with 30 thou tracks in inches. That's my standard. I'll go narrower and I'll go wider, but oh, what a headache. And then, okay, I've got most of my components placed on PCB because I don't want to use a schematic. But this thing wants you to start with a schematic. I could find the templates for my output transistors and the drivers, but the small ones, no. No, they're not in PCB. You have to find them in schematic. Oh, no, what a headache. What a democrat business. Oh, anyway. And I'm sure once I've drawn the board to get the Gerbers out, I'll have to call him again to show me how. There's lots of tutorials on YouTube, but it's all wrong. It's, oh, this is the ABC of KiCad. But the guy doesn't show you where to start. Where do you set the track widths? Where do you get your components? No, A is for this, B is for that, C is for that. Oh man, no. So, the only reason why I want to do that is I have to make 10 of those organ boards. And to manually drill all the holes, if I use Tango, I can easily make the boards, but to drill all the holes for 10 boards is going to take me a long time. I did it for 2 boards and that was fine. Now the organ builders, they said, no, these boards are very hard to come by now, and they want 10 of my boards. I said, okay, but I think I'll have to redraw it in another program so that I can have the boards, the blank boards made commercially. Then I don't have to drill all the holes. But now I'm battling with this thing. Man, oh man, oh man, man. Anyway, that's enough of that. Okay. Martin G0NYM. There is a little teeny weeny bit of distortion in your audio. I've heard it on other people's audio before, not today, but it's like a loose grain of sand in your microphone diaphragm, something like that. Just a little bit. Yeah, that's about it from this end. I hope Phil can show us some of those other transmit component things and tell us about it. And Brian, yeah, well, you say you've also just recovered from a flu thing, so let's hope it leaves you alone now. Right, Martin, over to you. G0NYM for the group from ZS1 Mike.
Yes, good afternoon again. Well, Leon, last things first. I turned the audio a little bit down on the OBS. See if that's improves it a deal. I don't know. We'll see. I can't. You're way above my skill level. That printed circuit board design. I've only ever copied already built circuits off of magazines and onto what they call it, this film that overhead projection film onto off a printer, and then photo etched them onto ordinary boards, but the tracks and everything all. It works, but you could never use it to fine details. And as for designing boards, I haven't a clue. I've seen it done. I've seen people do it on here with various programs, and I admire them. I admire these people that can do it, and it just baffles me how the board gets designed and the pieces get moved around, and the wiring gets from a bird's nest to some sort of order. I've never been able to understand that. Yes, what else was it? What did you mention? Yeah, hay fever. Yes, yes, it is. It's. Well, I've never suffered with hay fever. Been very lucky, touch wood. I've got friends that do suffer with it. One of my sons suffers with it tremendously. His eyes stream and he gets blocked up noses, and he's probably worse with hay fever than what he is with flu. But as for me with flu, I've had all my injections. I'm topped up with every injection they can think of. I've a weak immune system, so they tell me. And was it Phil that said he had pneumonia? Yes, I'm the same. They thought I got some nasty disease on one of my lungs because it was a large mass on an x-ray. I had an x-ray a couple of weeks later and the mass had gone down, so I really thought it wasn't as serious as what it was. And the consultant at the time got on my finger and says, yes, you've got AF, my heart doesn't beat at the right time, not a continual pulse. It beats a couple, misses, beats one. It's a regular heartbeat, and that was caused through pneumonia. So I've been stuck with that for the last 7 or 8 years. It's not nice. It can make me very close to passing out if I get up sometimes very quick. Anyway, we're getting like 80 metre on a Sunday morning talking about health. But yes, okay, what else has been mentioned? Phil, I must say about your laptop for the little girl. I can't say how much I admire you. I think it's fantastic. Good luck and with your next trip over there, and I hope everything works out for her. I really do. You know, okay, the AMSAT beacon I wrote down, your backup. Yes, I noticed it had gone off the other morning. I didn't know they swapped the amp over. I don't know, is it all done in software, I suppose? Can they repair the other amp in software? Is that why the signal's been breaking up on a fairly regular basis and becoming all distorted? Picture, presume that's what's caused it. Perhaps somebody may or may not know. Brian, what you got down here? Oh yes, on antibiotics. Yes, I've had my fill of them as well. So I know where it sort of wipes you out, doesn't it? You feel, you wonder whether it's a good idea to have them or skip them and get through the cold young way. But I've had massive doses of antibiotics for various reasons in the past, and I spent most of my time running to the bathroom. That's what shouldn't be talking about it on a Sunday afternoon, but that's what happened to me anyway. So there you go. Nothing else to add. Oh, somebody mentioned petrol mowers and lightweight. I think it was you, Brian, Martin. You had a new blue. Blue for boy, yeah, blue mower. Yes, I thought about my wife running around the garden with a blue mower. She's got the orange one, a bright orange thing. That's we used to have a petrol mower, but spent most of the summer trying to get it to go. It worked beautifully once it was running, and but you spent an hour pulling the cord, fiddling about with everything to get it to go. But once it was going, it was fine. It worked beautifully, and it did a lovely job of cutting the lawn. But it was a sod to get going. Even from new, I never got it to fire up first time every time. That's about all from me, I think. I'm pass it round to somebody else and see what happens. Alright, so over to you, Brian. G6 HFS to take it from G0NYM.
Very good, Martin. No problem. No problem. I took it over. Yeah, all I know about the beacon is what I picked up on the chat yesterday, and that is that they're now running on the backup PA, or the beacon is now running on the backup PA, and probably the main PA will go to be repaired. Probably, I don't know. And the comment was that it could well be the PA that had been causing the problems on the beacon, and that's it. That's all I know. So, no doubt we will find out in future. Yeah, hay fever. I suffered with hay fever, not too bad, but I did suffer with it when I was young, and I sort of grew out of it when I got, I don't know, must have been end of teenage years probably, and I grew out of it, and that was great. And it wasn't until about 5 years ago that it attacked me again for some unknown reason. The symptoms for me is that it irritates my soft palate in the back of my mouth, and it can drives me balmy because it itches, and if I were to touch it with my tongue to relieve the itch, it makes it 10 times worse. Yeah, it's not very nice. I don't get too many symptoms. I think I get, my eyes start to get a bit bunged up, and I think I sneeze a little bit, but the main one is in my soft palate. The only remedy that I've got to eliminate it is to drink a very small amount of water, but virtually constantly drip feed it, and that sort of relieves it. I can't take any of the antihistamine drugs for it. They just make me feel so, well, stupid. I think it just does my brain in. I can't take them. And it's on the calendar. I know exactly when I'm going to get it. It's going to be. It's for about. I haven't got the calendar. I think it's for about 3 weeks. I get it. And it's normally at the beginning of June, and I've got a big area on the calendar blotted out warning me that I might have hay fever. But strangely enough, last year I didn't have any symptoms last year, so who knows what's going to happen this year. Liam, you asked about that big transmitter. Yeah, it's not secret anymore. The story started way back in the 70s. There was an international RF frequency reallocation internationally all around the world, and certainly there was, I think, 2 radio stations, BBC stations, that had to change frequency in the UK, and it happened, the actual allocation change, I think, happened in late 70s, 78, 79, like that. But the British government wanted a high power medium wave portable, if you can call it portable, transportable medium wave transmitter, a very high powered one. They wanted a megawatt, but the idea was that this megawatt transmitter could be put in on a low loader and basically shipped anywhere in the world. Okay, you've got to have power for it. Antennas, well, we all know that, you know, a bit of wire here, there and everywhere. An antenna can be relatively easy to produce. Power is a bit different. But the novelty with the transmitter, I'll show you photographs in a minute, was that it was based on a Doherty design. And what that means is that in the output stage you have two bottles, two big valves. Well, I'll point out, to make the 1 megawatt, there was 4 250 kilowatt PAs. And if you combine the 4, you ended up with a megawatt. But the idea was that there'll be 4 of these transmitters, or PAs, 250 kilowatt apiece. And these were to be made, and they had to be shipped out to Cyprus. And they had to be on air, on frequency, at full power on a given day. And that was our deadline. If that wasn't achieved, either in power, whatever power they could produce, let's say they could only produce 500 kilowatt, that is what the license, the maximum power was going to be, was 500 kilowatts. They had a maximum of a megawatt, that was what the license was. But on that day, whatever maximum power they transmitted was the maximum power going forward. So there was a bit of a deadline. Anyhow, that was where they went, and they did actually go on the air on that day, and they did. The government did get a license for 1 megawatt on this particular frequency, which was medium wave. Now the Doherty transmitter, it's got 2 big bottles in it, or the PA should I say, it's got 2 bottles. One of those bottles would be the carrier. So you whack into that bottle a medium wave frequency, whatever it is. Let's say, I don't know, that's nice and simple, 1 megawatt. Sorry, 1 meg. 1 mega. 1 megahertz. Into that one bottle at full power. And then the other bottle, what that would do would be to modulate the voltage on the anode of the carrier. So it's AM, amplitude modulation. It's not very efficient because of, you're wasting a lot of power. But what the beneficial part of it is that you don't need a modulation transformer. So all you need is 2 sources. One is your RF frequency going in, and the other one is AF, and you end up with amplitude modulation. So let's show you some photographs. Where are we? I've got to find it now. It's on here. Here we go. That's one of the 250 kilowatt PAs. What there is, on the 2 doors, left and right, there is a big bottle in there. The one on the left, my memory serves me correct, is the RF bottle. And the one on the right in there is the AF bottle. And that there would produce, oh, here we go. That there is the tank coil on the output stage. I can tell you a funny story about that as we've got time. Oops, let's put it on again. Come on. I'll tell you a story about this. I came into the workshop one day, and the chap leading the project, Ralph, he was in front of this coil, and he's got a piece of wood jammed in between the windings of this coil. It's basically copper water pipe, and he's got this piece of wood. He's got this piece of wood jammed in there, and he's hitting this copper coil with a rubber mallet, and he's going bang, 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 and he's whacking it. And I goes up, Ralph, what on earth are you doing? I'm just tuning the coil, he says. Bang, bang. Memories, happy memories. But yeah, so that's the tank coil. Now this one here, this is the left-hand side bottle. And that will be the one that will be doing the RF. And you can see the tank coil there to the right of it. Now these valves, they are not water cooled. They are what's called vapor cooled. And what happens is that in the bottom of the valve, which is iron, whoops, the bottom of the valve, I can't show you a picture of the valve. Oh, I think, can I show you a picture of the valve? Well, I've got one at the end. Let's have a look. Let's see if I can. No, I don't, sorry. Hang on. There we go. Back there again. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's vapor cooled. What happens is the water, which is distilled water, comes in, and you see a little glass tube underneath that jacket. Sorry, this is on a loop. I need to stop it, but I'm not going to. There is a little glass tube in the bottom of it, and that's where the distilled water comes in, and it goes around the bottom of the anode, which is this iron, like a heat sink almost, and water goes through there, and then it evaporates into steam, and it's the steam that runs around the glass of the valve, and the exhaust of the steam is, as you can see, it's on the left hand side. It's that glass tube, which is the insulation part. And then you've got the copper tube that runs off the top. That is a steam chimney, if you want. And then the steam is then condensed again and goes back in the circuit. And those grey tubes, those two grey tubes there, is forced air. And that is air being forced into those to cool parts of the valve down that doesn't have any cooling. So that's that. That's what it is basically. It's a 250 kilowatt PA, and we built 4 of them. Let's go back to keep doing that. Let's find a camera. There we go. Yeah, so I suppose, yeah, we built 4 of them, and I'll be quite honest, it was the best job I've ever had in my life. They were really clever people that I was working with, all very clever RF engineers. I mean, yeah, I mean this PA was designed, I think it was designed by Ralph up there, based on obviously some help from the manufacturers of the valves. Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. The people up there were very clever people, and it literally was handmade. The cabinet, etc., was all made by the sheet metal workers on site, and the site, well, it's been decommissioned quite some years ago. Martin knows about it. King of England, he knows about it. It's a place called Crowborough, which is right on top of a hill in Sussex, right by the south coast, and that's where we built it. And as I say, they were shipped out to Cyprus, and they ended there. I'm not sure when The Cyprus site, these transmitters were decommissioned, but they were removed and they ended up in another transmission site in the UK at Alford Ness, which I think is on the east coast, and that's been, I think it's decommissioned. There might still be a bit in there, but anyhow, that's what they were. They were 4 250 kilowatt medium wave transmitters that could be combined to produce a megawatt, and they were transportable. How you got a megawatt? Well, I suppose you would have diesel generators, I suppose, to produce the power for them. And that's really the end of the story. So anyway, it's a big long waffle from me. So I'm going to put up the test card, which I need to do on this one. And if
Alright, is it me? Yeah, mute that. Don't hear myself. Yeah, very interesting, Phil. Your transmitted pictures were fine, but your camera video, was there some sunshine coming in on your right hand side by a window? Because it was awfully washed out. It was just practically white. All you could see was you and your console desk. There we go. The only thing design work I've been doing with KiCad Leon is this. When I had to do some Ethernet wiring for son, daughter and various tests around the house, I built this KiCad. There you go. It's got 2 Ethernet ports on it, basically just loop back. Nothing fancy. All it does is just measure the loop back between the 2 connectors. I can sort of demo how it works. Oh, there we go. The blue thing I'm going to touch is just a connector to test it. But there we go. Bad connection. Good connection. That's the last thing I did for KiCad. Not a lot else to add. The only other thing I've done, oh yeah, the only other thing I've done is decided I wanted to feed back the ride back into the system. So I've got a HDMI splitter now on the ride HDMI output, and then a gadget to take one of those inputs and feed it into OBS, so I can now relay that if I need to. That's all I've done. Not a lot else to say this afternoon. Just say thanks everybody for coming up, and again thanks Martin. Maybe around next week, I'm not sure. But I'll say 7.3 for today, and put a test card up and put it back round to, I think it's young Martin, the person in the chair for today from G6HFS. Oh no, don't want that. Let's try that. G6HFS.
Yeah, thanks there, Brian. Yeah, I had to disconnect you from the chat. Your little was randomly keying up and causing things. So as Phil was on, it was causing lots of access bleeps. So we disconnected it, so don't know quite why that was happening. Well, thanks everybody for popping up, and to Phil, that was interesting on the valves. I think you said Alfred Ness that it finished with. I think that's where Caroline now broadcasts from. Radio Caroline, it's 3-1. It's medium wave side of things on that site, which is somewhat waterlogged a lot of the time. I say sea logged, shall we say? And lots of development, I think, during the war went on there, which is an interesting site. Let's just talk about, yes. I don't think there's much else I can comment on. Oh yeah, that with regards to Crowborough, I used to be a TV engineer that occasionally had to service that area when I was on relief from. And the only problem is that all these transmitters that I had up there would break through on the audio side of most of the stations that were nearby, if you were lucky, or wipe out some of the TVs in those days were not particularly very good at coping with things. So I used to spend a lot of time trying to do things and not very successful. Anyway, I don't know a lot more to add. I'm trying to be a bit more inspired next week. As far as I know, it's me that's doing it again. I've not heard from Gary yet this week, but I didn't expect to, knowing how busy he is. But hopefully some of the other guys will come back and join us on the Worldwide Net. But on that, I'll close the Worldwide Net. Thanks to Leon for being there, always, as a starting point. And are you going to be there next week? I'll put you on the list anyway. You're not having any more roofs fixed, etc. So, thanks everybody. This is Jake Carey, closing the Worldwide Net. Put up a test card and say 7 threes.